Hello guys, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from group that consists of Olivia Taniaga, Sila Rahmadina, and Muhammad Yusuf. We will presenting about the foreign direct investment and corporate strategy. So here we go. The first one is the definition of foreign direct investment and corporate strategy. So, this is the process of overseas expansion theory of multinational corporation, the strategy of multinational enterprise, and designing a global expansion strategy. So here they are for the theory of the multinational corporate. There are two categories. The first one is product and factor market imperfections, and the second is financial market imperfections. And for the product and factor market imperfections is divided by two categories. The first one is internalization and the second one is market integration. And for the market integration is also divided into two categories. They are vertical and horizontal. The definition of internalization. A useful means of the internalization is to judge whether a foreign investment is desirable is to consider the two types of imperfection that the investment is designed to overcome. Internalization and hence FDI is most likely to economically viable in those settings where the possibility of contractual difficulties makes it especially costly to coordinate economic activities via arm's length transaction in the marketplace. For market integration is divided into vertical and horizontal. For vertical integration, direct investment across industries that are related to different stages of production of a particular good enable the MNC to substitute internal production and distribution system for inefficient markets. For instance, vertical integration might allow a firm to install specialized cost-saving equipment in two locations without the worry and risk that facilities may be idled by disagreements with unrelated enterprises. And for the horizontal integration direct investment that is cross-border but within an industry enables the MNC to utilize an advantage such as know-how or technology and avoid the contractual difficulties of dealing with unrelated parties.
Financial market imperfections, an alternative thought not necessarily competing hypothesis for explaining foreign direct investment relies on the existence of financial market imperfections. An even more important financial motivation for foreign direct investment is likely to be the desire to reduce risk through international diversification. The greater of a firm's international investment, the riskier its operation should be. The ability of multinational to supply an indirect means of international diversification should be advantageous to investors. However, this corporate international diversification will be beneficial to shareholders only if there are barriers to direct international portfolio investment by individual investors. In the strategy of multinational enterprise, there are four types of strategies. Number one is innovation-based multinationals. Number two, the major multinationals. Number three, the senescence multinationals, and the last one is foreign direct and survival. Firms such as 3M, United States NV Philips Netherlands and Sony Japan, creates barrier to entry by continually introducing new products and differentiating existing one both domestically and internationally. Firms in this category spend a large amount of the money in research and development and have a high ratio of technical to factory personnel. Technological leads have a habit of eroding. However, in the indication, even the innovative multinationals retain a substantial corporation and standardized product lines. As industries matures, on the factor must replace technology as a barrier to entry. Otherwise, local competitors may suggest in replacing foreign national in their home markets. The importance of economic of scale. A principal barrier is the percentage of economies of scale which exists whenever a given increase in the scale of product, marketing, or distribution result in a less than proportional increase in the cost. The existence of scale economies means that there are inherent cost advantages to being large. The more significant these scale economies are, therefore, the greater will be the cost disadvantages faced by a new entrant to the market. Economics scope. Economies of scope exist whenever the same investment can support multiply profitable activities less expensively in combination than separately. In the production economies of a scope are becoming more prevalent as flexible manufacturing system allow the same equipment to produce a variety of product more cheaply in combination than separately.
So the third strategy of multinational enterprise is the senescence multinationals. In the senescence multinationals, there are principle that are global scanning capability. So one strategy often followed when the senescence sets in is to use the firm's global scanning capability to seek out lower cost production sites. Cost can then be minimized by combining production shift with rationalization and integration of the firm's manufacturing facilities worldwide. This strategy usually involves plants specializing in the different stages of production. The last strategy of multinational enterprise is the foreign direct and survival. So in the foreign direct and survival, there are some important principles. The first one is cost reduction. It is apparent that if competitors gain access to lower cost sources of production abroad, following them overseas may be a prerequisite for domestic survival. One strategy that is often followed by firms for which cost is the key consideration is to develop a global scanning capability to seek out lower cost production sites or production technologies worldwide. In fact, firms in the competitive industries have to seize new, non-proprietary cost reduction opportunities continually, and the last is not to earn excess returns but to make normal profits and survive. The second one is economics of scale. A somewhat less obvious factor motivating foreign investment is the effect of economies of scale. And the third one is multiple sourcing. The fourth is knowledge seeking. And the last is keeping domestic customers. Suppliers of goods or service to multinational often will follow their customer abroad in order to guarantee them a continuing product flow. Otherwise, the threat of a potential disruption to an overseas supply line. A similar threat to domestic market share has led many banks, advertising agencies, and accounting, law, and consulting firms to set up foreign practices in the wake of their multinational clients' overseas expansion. The next learning objective is about designing a global expansion strategy. So in this topic, there are 5 important elements of the strategy. The first one is awareness of profitable investment. The second is selecting a mode of entry. The third is auditing the effectiveness of entry modes. The fourth is using appropriate evaluation criteria. And the last one is estimating the longevity of a competitive advantage. Although a strong competitive advantage today in, say, technology or marketing skills may give a company some breathing space, this competitive advantage will eventually erode, leaving the firms susceptible to increased competition both at home and abroad. The emphasis must be on systematically pursuing policies and the investment congruent with the worldwide survival and growth. So this approach involves 5 interrelated elements. The first one is awareness of profitable investment. So firms must have an awareness of those investments that are likely to be most profitable. An investment strategy should focus explicitly on building competitive advantage. This strategy could be geared to building volume when economies of scale are all important, or to broadening the product scope when economies of scope are critical to success. The second one is selecting mode entry. This global approach to investment planning necessitates systematic evaluation of individual entry strategies in foreign markets, comparison of the alternative, and selection of the optimal mode of entry. So this strategy do by evaluate and systematically. The third is auditing the effectiveness of the entry modes. A key element is a continual audit of the effectiveness of current entry modes, bearing in mind that a market sales potential is at least partly a function of entry strategy. The fourth element is using appropriate evaluation criteria. And the last one is estimating the longevity of competitive advantage. So the firm must estimate the longevity of its particular form of competitive advantage. If this advantage is easily replicated, both local and foreign competitors will soon apply the same concept, process, or organizational structure to their operations. The resulting competition will erode profits to a point at which the multinational can no longer justify its existence in the market. So that's all from our group. Thank you for your attention and for listening our presentation. I hope that we all can learn something new today. So thank you.